Coming down, 3, 2, and 1. Rasmus, here we are in Sweden. What do you think the best thing about this country is?
I mean, a lot of things. Food is fantastic here. People are usually pretty nice. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'd say the culture here is just great overall. I feel like people that come here and visit, they usually like it here. So it's a lot of things that is good with Sweden.
Most vivid young hockey memory?
Most vivid young hockey memory? I mean, it's so many early ones that I've just seen videos of. I mean, my brother plays, obviously he plays professional here in Sweden now, and I couldn't stay at home when I was very young, so they had to bring me to the practice rink and just be on the ice with him and my dad and my mom as well. So my mom is actually a pretty good skater too. So lots of family skates.
Mm-hmm. Now, this year was a roller coaster. Like, so much stuff happened to you. Did it take you until after the season to kind of just breathe and calm down and process everything that occurred?
Yeah, a little bit. I feel like when stuff like last year happens, I feel like, there's no stopping. You just kind of go with it. And, I just kind of enjoyed it the whole time during the season. And then after, I mean, just kind of sat down and actually now when I'm looking for new places in Washington, it's like, I don't really know where to live. So, luckily I have great teammates that helps me out with that.
So what was the biggest change between Toronto and Washington for you?
I mean, I feel like there wasn't that many changes. I mean, obviously leaving the teammates that I had in Toronto and then coming into the new group, Toronto's, guys in the team, they were pretty young. I mean, they were like, Matthews 97 or something. Same with Mitch. And, lots of guys were younger and kind of get into an older team. I feel like the older guys in our team now feels like they're as young as I am. So, which is great. But I didn't feel like there was too many changes. Obviously, there's some minor things. I mean, just walking in the city, I mean, people don't maybe recognize you in the same way, stuff like that. But I love my time in Washington.
Good. Excellent. Because you never know, like sometimes the first time you get traded, it's like, how does it affect you mentally? Like, you change in the middle of the season, how quickly can you adjust? Like, I remember one guy told me, he said, Rasmus can make friends in a room with nobody. So like, it's not going to be hard for him to adjust that kind of way. But I always wonder, like, what's the biggest curveball that gets thrown at you?
Yeah, I mean, that was obviously a curveball when I got traded. I mean, that's where, coming to Washington too, I mean, I think I knew like two guys pretty well. One guy was Eric Gustafsson, who got traded for me. And then the second guy was Marcus Johansson, who got traded like 5 minutes before I did. So I was like, who am I going to know like on the team? And then obviously we had Nick there, and Nick is a fantastic guy. I mean, He took care of me from day one. I mean, he set up like by the breakfast and waiting for me to come down and introduce me to all the guys. So he was obviously a big help for me.
Well, he's like, because you're like that circle of guys were in Havel. Like that's a group really well, right?
Yeah, for sure. And then all Swedish guys that are hockey players. I mean, they kind of know each other a little bit. So obviously that was a huge help for me.
Spencer Carbery, you're with him in Toronto. We just talked to Martin Fairberry a couple of seconds ago. We had him in Hershey, and now he's back in the Washington mix, and you've got him again. What's Carbery like, and what have the conversations been like so far?
I mean, he's awesome. I mean, he took care of the power plays in Toronto, and that's mainly where I work with him. And he really wants to get the best out of each and every player individually and as a unit. So I think he's going to do great things for us, and he's going to be a huge addition to our team. I mean, I'm looking forward to work with him. I feel like he's he's really good at separating, outside of the ice and, walking into the morning. He's just a, normal guy. And as soon as you step on the ice and you step on the, going into a game or a practice, he's, it's different. So I feel like that's a really good thing that I think most players enjoy playing for. And I'm really excited to play for him again.
You must have a pretty good idea of how Washington's power play works. There's this guy on the left side. You try to set him up for one-timers.
Who's that?
There's going to be someone on the right now, though.
Hey,
that's true. You have a couple of different
That's right, yeah.
Yeah, no, it's insane. I've said it now for a couple times. I mean, today, playing with Ovi and Backy and those guys, those players are two guys I looked up to, when I was younger and still do. So getting the chance to play with with both of them now, it's surreal. I remember just the first day walking in and Backy's sitting down there. I mean, I've talked to him a couple times, met him a couple times before I got there, and just kind of waiting for Ovi to come into the locker room. I was kind of like nervous to meet him finally. So, but it's awesome. I mean, I got the chance to play with them for a bit there on the power play too, and I mean, it's pretty easy where you're going to look the first. I mean, you're just looking straight over to the left side, and if he's open, he's open. I mean, yeah. So it's awesome to play with those guys.
Does it matter? Like, does he want it a certain way, or does it not matter? Like, he can hit it no matter what.
I feel like he can hit it no matter what. He's always telling me when I got the puck, he's like, just pass it to me, pass it hard, and try to get it to me, and I'm going to shoot it. And yeah, so he can do it in any different way. So it's awesome.
Now, you mentioned when he was going to walk in, so that first time he walked in, because he definitely has a presence about him. Like, what did he say to you? How did the conversation go?
He came in like really late too. I remember this very well. So first day, I mean, we have usually 2 buses that goes from the hotel to the rink, and they played a game at night. And my visa wasn't ready, so I couldn't play that game against Anaheim. And I took the first bus, getting my gear ready and stuff like that, and kind of sitting right across from him. And like a minute before everyone's sitting in the locker room, Ovi comes in at last, and he just walks straight up, give me a handshake, and like, welcome to the team, man. I'll talk to you a little bit more soon. And then, I mean, later at night during dinner, we sat down beside each other, just chatted for a bit, and I mean, he's awesome.
That's cool.
Yeah.
I like those guys who show up like a minute before they have to, and then they're the best player on the ice that night.
Yeah.
I like guys like that.
It's not always like that. I mean, practice rink, I mean, he's sitting in the couch. I mean, he's probably there first out of anyone, and eating his breakfast and watching TV and stuff like that. So it's awesome getting the chance to play with him.
How's the knee?
It's good. It's good. I mean, it was just, it hurt a little bit when I got the hit in the Worlds, but right now I feel great. Feel stronger than ever, and yeah, excited for the season to start.
Obviously disappointing when it happened. I don't know. Do you want to get into that? Do you think it was necessary, dirty? Any conversations with Asamont afterwards?
Yeah, I mean, it's stuff that happens on the ice, I kind of feel like too. I mean, it's such a high-paced game. So, I mean, stuff is going to happen. Sometimes it's going to turn out good. Sometimes it's not going to turn out good. And I thought it was really, really good by him. I mean, he reached out to me after and apologized and, stuff like that. So, I mean, lots of respect for that. So, yeah, I mean, it is what it is. It's in the past now, and I feel great. So that's all that matters.
I will say this, that after Reinbacher got drafted by Montreal, there were a lot of people who were tweeting your hit of him in the same tournament. Is that the meanest hip check you've ever thrown?
Probably one of them. I was a little bit worried after too, actually. I had to send him a little text. So it was a lot of texting during that tournament, just making sure he was okay, because, I was getting a lot of texts where it looked like I was kind of laughing at it after or something, but we were laughing about something completely different. So I just had to make sure he was fine, because obviously you don't want to hurt anyone on the ice or anything like that. So yeah, good by him. I think he's a good player too, so good pickup in Montreal.
Social media never takes anything out of context, Rasmus. Like that never happens.
Yeah, no, I kind of realized that now after a while, especially in Toronto too. I mean, they're good at that there.
What was the biggest lesson you learned? Like, the thing that you learned about starting your career in such a big market, that when you retire 20 years from now, you're going to say this was a valuable thing for me.
I mean, I think just so many things. I mean, I really enjoyed my time in Toronto. I think it was fantastic. I mean, how much the fans care about the sport itself, the team. I mean, it's awesome playing a Tuesday night in front of a packed arena every single night. So that was awesome. And you kind of learn too to kind of block out the noise a little bit with time. When you have a bad game, I mean, if you go on Twitter or something, you're going to have notifications, but you get good at kind of blocking it out a little bit and focus on what's right. And yeah, so it's a lot of things you learn from being in those markets, but really enjoyed my time there for sure.
The day you're dealt, there was the moment where Willie helped you, walked with you off the ice. And obviously you guys are friends. You share the same agent. I just wondered, he's an interesting guy. Like, he doesn't He looks like nothing bothers him. He looks like he doesn't have a care in the world. But in that moment, he's like, I'm getting off the ice and I'm going out with Rasmus.
Yeah.
And I wonder, A, are you comfortable sharing what he said? And B, like, if there's one thing people don't know about him, what would you say it would be?
Yeah. I mean, almost getting a little emotional just thinking about it. But Willie's one of my best friends, and I've known him since probably like 2016, 2015 or something like that. So when I got drafted to Toronto, first off, and he was on the same team, it was just awesome. I lived with him for 1 year and stayed with him in the beginning of last season as well. And when he found out, he still talks about it a little bit here and there. It's like, we chat every single day, no matter where we play. And for the the days after, he was like, man, it feels weird, like going for dinner and you're not around and stuff like that. But when we walked off, I think that was really cool. And he was kind of saying like, don't cry yet, cameras around. So he didn't want to show that. And telling me some nice stuff and thought it was good and just wished me the best. And since then, I think we still talk every single day. So
really?
Yeah.
What's one thing about him that nobody knows?
I think, social media wise and stuff, he always wants to look a little cool on his Instagram posts and, everything's supposed to be a little flashy and, stuff like that. But that's Willie. But he really cares. And if you're, in his inner circle too, being close to him, he's all about family. He's all about his friends. He does anything. If I'd call him right now and tell him to stop what he's doing and if he could do something for me, he would do it. So if you're in his inner circle and people know him, he's the best guy ever.
When you went to Sault Ste. Marie in the OHL, I would talk to Kyle Raftis, the general manager of the Sioux. Connor Timmins would have been there. I think would have been playing with the Greyhounds at the same time too. Just sort of check in. And every time that I did that first season you were there would be an interesting story about you. And the first one was, you'll never believe what he showed up with in Sault Ste. Marie in the winter. Can you share that story?
Yeah, we were there, first off. We were there playing the under-17s, Worlds there. And obviously, Sweden won that one. But, I actually really liked it there. And then after, I was supposed to go over from the start of the season. And then I was going to be on a loan from my team in Sweden.
Yeah.
And we had some injuries in our D course. I stayed back and played a couple of games before I headed over. So I came over thinking like November or something like that, and it was freezing cold, so much snow and stuff like that. And I show up in my Yeezy shoes, a hoodie, sweatpants, and they're like, my billet family was picking me up at the airport, and they're like, that's definitely the guy. No one shows up in Sault Ste. Marie in that type of clothes at this time. So, it's a pretty funny story.
He always said you were all about the shoes too. That you always had the best shoes on the team. True or false?
On that team, probably yes. Yeah. Yeah, it wasn't a lot of guys that were into shoes there, but I was. So, that's probably true.
Not anymore? Not in Toronto or Washington? You didn't have the best shoes?
I feel like there's a lot of shoe guys now, both in Washington and Toronto. But yeah, I'm still into it. But I feel like there's guys that have more and better shoes than I have. So I need to step my game up a little bit.
You're slipping.
Yeah,
Back to the Sioux days.
Yeah.
Rasmus, thanks so much for this. Best of luck with the Caps next season.
Thank you. Appreciate it.